Good to see you all again. I've got to get ready for work shortly. Today's Thursday, the first day of spring here in the southern hemisphere in northern New South Wales, Australia. And I've been busy brewing beer, giving my yabby some salt. Probably want some salt too, do you? So, this is just another day in the life of this crazy nutter. But I come bearing news, so if you can bear with me while I'm doing my chores here. Just give me another handful of salt. It's a bit caked up, so I can only get a little bit at a time. That should be plenty. Oh, they like it. You don't mind a bit of salt, do you, little yabby? Tasty, tasty salt. Alright, put the lids back on. I just got to keep an eye on the brew because it's finally filling now on the final stages before I add the yeast. I used a clamp to hold the hose in place this time. Get it nice and aerated too while I add it, why not? So, might have to just close this now. That's all the water I'm emptying out today. Clean the yabby filter. Still got to clean these guys' filter. I'll do that after I make this little message. You know, sometimes you find the tastiest fruit in the most obscure places. And I once did. Back when I was trying to sell my previous business, my cleaning business, cleaning pubs. I had this thriving business. I was making $2,000 a week after expenses. I was doing really well for myself. Till somebody decided they wanted to buy it off me. And they didn't want to pay the price that it had become worth, what I'd made it worth. So at a business meeting, this gentleman who wanted to buy my business, which I'd worked hard for 5 years building up after mortgaging my house, second mortgage, and owning it, doing quite well. I wasn't really paying much off my debt because it was a big debt, but I was paying my way through life. I was doing well. That's why I've still got so much junk around me now, because back when I had money, I invested it in things, tools, and all this gym equipment that you see was bought dirt cheap, second-hand mostly, if not even picked up at the side of the road, council clean-up. So, I've been doing it tough for a while now, but back then I was doing really well. And anyway, how far do I go? Let's just say I was with my current partner at the time, on and off. She was this big Maori woman. Really lovely at times, really horrible at other times. Angry Maori, but I did love her. We had a relationship, a good understanding. And the relationship worked when she moved out, actually, and we only saw each other 2 or 3 days a week. Then once we started fighting again, she could piss off back to her place, and after a few days we'd be good, have a few drinks again, get it on. She was awesome. One thing about big women, they've got a good appetite, if you catch my drift. And she was cleaning for me at the time too, but this arsewipe, absolute Yeah, I'd employed him a bit. He'd help me out at times, like when I had to go over to New Zealand, for example, when my partner, she lost her mum and we had to go to the funeral. So he wasn't the worst person in the world. I considered him a friend even. And he made it known that he wanted to buy my business. So I calculated what it's worth, how hard it is to get a good business in Byron where you can make $2,000 a week profit for only doing between 20 and 30 hours a week, work a week most weeks. Yeah, it would get busy in the summertime and we'd have to do a lot extra, but I'd streamlined everything and I'd managed to get my payments that I was getting from the pubs up over those years to the point where it was pretty comfortable. Like I had to clean through the night. Now I'd start at midnight, 1 a.m. most nights and work right through to sun up and then go and enjoy my time at the beach a lot of the time. So I wasn't keen to sell it by any means. And I'd figured it was worth by this stage at least $120,000, if not $140,000. And I figured between that and paying off all my debts, paying what I paid for the business, I'd have enough left over, 20 to 40,000, to start up another business, which I was probably going to go back into the aquarium industry. That's where I really love doing that, and there's not many people making aquariums around here, so I was going to learn how to make aquariums, cut glass, start up a business from scratch again out in the industrial estate and see where I went from there. And so anyway, this arsewipe decides we'll have a business meeting, a lunch meeting, and to discuss the sale of the business. And then he comes at me because I paid about 65 grand for it. I got it for a really good price. I was really lucky. It was worth at least 80 or 90 at the time, if not more. But it's a cleaning business, it's hard work. There's a lot of commitment. It's 365 or 364 days a year. Christmas, the one day you're meant to get off, that's the day you go in and strip the bloody floors and seal them again. So it's not a day off, it's actually worse. It's a double day. So I was fully committed to this job. And this arsewipe, because I bought it off his brother for the good price, he figured it would come to him for next to nothing. Now, I don't know if you've ever been drugged before. I don't think I have. It's possible, but sometimes when I suspect I have been, it's simply because I was overdrink. Got a little bit more pissed than I should have, and it usually happens when I'm out. Because that's just what you do. You go out and have a good time and get drunk, which I haven't done that in years properly. But we're sitting down at this meeting, right, a lunchtime meeting, long story short, and the fucking prick drugged me. And when you're drugged, you don't really realise it until when it wears off. It didn't wear off for me for 5 days. Yeah. I started to suspect it after about 3, but wasn't really sure, and it was only when it fully wore off I knew that prick has drugged me. And we spoke on the phone because we're still trying to negotiate a price at this stage, and I put it to him. I said, "You fucking drugged me, you bastard." And he just laughed and said, "Yeah, you can't be too careful, can you?" So he admitted it. Now, while I was drugged, right, we didn't even get through lunch at the pub we were having it, and I was halfway through this beer when I was just starting to spin out, trip out, doing things I'd never done before. The people who were with me, Flick, my partner, and her kids, they had the day off from school. They thought it too. I was acting very, very strangely. Did some very weird things. And anyway, we got home late that afternoon, and I don't remember anything from that. I passed out really early, like sometime in the arvo, and then around 10 o'clock in the night, there's a bang on the bedroom door from Flick's daughter. Bang, bang, bangs, sort of woke me up out of some bizarre slumber, and she says, "There's something wrong with Jack out in the lounge room." So I raced out, like totally not knowing what the fuck I'm on or doing or anything. And here's my son, Jack, on the floor. He's only about 11 years old or something, having a full-on seizure, like fully couldn't breathe, all this sort of stuff. And I just never seen him do anything like that before or since. I was freaking out. So it gets me emotional every time I think about it. So imagine at the time, I just got down on the ground with him and put his head in my lap, trying to calm him down and everything, and then suddenly he just stopped breathing. He'd stopped. He was gone. And I just yelled out, "Jack! Jack!" And next thing he just opens his eyes and looks at me. And then he slowly starts breathing again, and his breathing slowly returned to normal. Now by this stage, somebody called the ambulance, and a couple of ambulances had shown up. And they just wanted to take him to a hospital. And I'm like, no, he's okay now, he's coming good. He'll be fine, there's no need to. But I was tripping off my brain. I don't know what it was. Never had anything like it before or since. But the ambulances were quite insistent. They said, look, if we've been called out, we have to take him to a hospital for observation. And I'm like, no, you're not taking him to hospital. That's where you get infections and you get sicker and everything. And they wouldn't take no for an answer. So they finally talked me into taking him down to the Byron Hospital, and that I could come along. So I was like, okay then, we'll do that. So I just grabbed whatever clothes I could find. I couldn't even find my glasses. The only thing I could find was me sunglasses, prescription sunglasses, and this vest, and a singlet top, a flannel, my shorts, and just my Uggies, chucked some Uggies on. So totally not prepared to go to work or anything like that. But because the vest I wear, it's the one where I stored my work keys, because I had to protect them with my life. I was in charge of this pub once it's closed, so now it's the security guy, the cleaner, everything. So when I got to the hospital, and I could see Jack was fine, all he needed to do was rest. So I filled out a heap of paperwork and stuff, and realised my keys are in my pocket, and the pub's just down the road there, the rails. So I thought, well then, since I'm here now, and it's 1:30 in the morning, I'll just go and start work and see what happens after that. Now when I got to work, everything went wrong, one thing after another. Like, because I was tripping, I was wearing sunglasses, I was wearing Ugg boots, not work gear, I normally wear work boots. And it was one of those weird nights as well. There's all these strange energies. People were coming up to the door, as they often do, looking for drinks, and I'm like, nah mate, we're shut. But every time I thought about what happened with Jack, it's so emotional. And normally I'd have a couple of beers in my van outside there, and if I needed a drink, I could just go and have a drink. To me that was what I always did. I never drank to get drunk. I was just drinking to get through the night, do my work before I could go to the beach and sit down and properly relax and have a few beers. So here on this night, I got no car, I got no phone, I got no wallet, I'm wearing sunglasses at night, trying to do my cleaning job, clean the pub, which usually takes 3 to 4 hours. I had this blower, a really good petrol blower, which I used for the outdoor paved area to clear the worst of that off first. And it was really, really low on petrol, so here in my state of mind, I've got some metho, I just put a bit of metho in, it'll be fine. Start it up, goes about 30 seconds and stops, and I go, fuck. So I put that back aside, and I needed to have a beer, right, put it that way. And here I am at a pub, loaded with beer. So I would never ever do that before, never have I ever stolen from the pub. That's the number one rule, never steal, as far as cleaning, when you're the security guy and everything. So I grabbed a beer out of the fridge and I held it up to the camera saying, I'm taking this, and I went to get a bit of paper and couldn't find a pen, so I couldn't even write him a note. But I said, look, I'm not stealing, I'll be back to pay for this later. And if they understood what I'd been through, they'd know why I had to have a beer. And as the night went on, and every time I thought about it, I just freaked out. So I ended up having a few beers. I had 3, and by the time I left, I took another one with me. And instead of doing the usual, walking up to the Northern to help me mates finish cleaning that, I just took a friggin' broom, the one of those long, sweet push brooms, went for a friggin' walk up the disused railway track, and just kept on going. Because I was fucking tripping. Absolutely tripping. And I did trip too while up because it was all so overgrown, trees and bushes and that everywhere. I was just walking over the top of them using this broom as a thing, and I just fell straight through and whacked my ankles, like my shin, so hard on the track. I thought I'd broke my leg. There's blood gushing out everywhere, but I just battled on, kept going for a few Ks up the road till I got to a place where I used to always go to the beach, and so I'd cut across the old golf course there, went to the beach, found that I had a bit of a stash in the bush there. I had a bag buried, had a bottle of water. Thank goodness I had that. That's what saved my life, I reckon, had that water. Then I had to swim in the ocean, bathed off a bit, curled up on my shirt in the sun for a while, had a little nap, slept for about half an hour or so. Woke up and then thought, well, now here I am in the middle of nowhere, no car, nothing, so what am I going to do? Actually, I'll just walk home. So I started walking up the beach with my broom as a walking stick, Ugg boots, because I couldn't carry them, had no bag or nothing. I had no water bottle, which I was preserving that, but I ended up walking for fucking miles and miles and miles, going even the wrong way. And when I got to this one spot at Niagara, finally, by the time I got to the highway, that's a long walk. I don't know how many Ks, 10 Ks maybe. It's a fair way. The day was getting on a bit and I'm pretty hungry, nothing to eat. And anyway, I went down to this obscure creek, and here was this tree with some wild mandarins growing. And I was like, oh, you saviour. So that's how I'm getting to talking about where you find some sweet fruit in bizarre places. 11 o'clock. Oh shit, I gotta go to work. Okay, I better finish this off real quick then. Long story short, ate the mandarin. I filled up my water bottle again at the stream, and the water was questionable. And I kept walking, and I walked all day long. I went up this old, I can't remember the name of the road. It's near Niagara. Someone's lane, I think. Walked all the way up to the top to St. Helena. By the time I got to the St. Helena lookout there, where the big tree, the king of these trees is, the sun was coming down, and it was the most glorious sunset. Like, I had a good day, don't get me wrong. It was a beautiful, beautiful day, walking through beautiful countryside, and when you're tripping on like that. But then I had to walk down into Bangalow from there, and as it got dark, wearing my sunglasses because I needed them for vision, there's only a narrow strip at the side of this highway, and trucks and cars are rushing by, and I was a little bit in fear for my life. My legs were absolutely killing me. I was so exhausted. I was just beat and torn, shattered and tossed, and finally getting down the main road of Bangalow. Only a few blocks from home now. I thought, yes, I'm going to get home. I'm going to survive. All I want to do is get home. Here comes Flick driving past, and she comes and pulls up next to me. And I get in the car and I sit down and I just, and she says, there's bad news. The pubs rang and said that they know you wanted to sell it. You've got to do it sooner rather than later. You've lost the contract. And I'm just like, I really needed to hear this right now. So I got home and I just sat for at least an hour, just recovering. And then when I went to work, of course, the next morning, at about 3 in the morning, absolutely fucking buggered, my legs could barely move. But I still did it, still went through and cleaned, still mopped the floors and polished the floors and did everything that had to be done. I've got this inner strength. And then Prickhole comes along a few days later and says, actually we spoke to him on the phone, and I said, like, so you agree to pay 120 grand? And he said, yeah. I said, okay, good. So we'll sign a contract, we'll get it done, and you'll get the money, we'll exchange the money, and I'll get on to the next stage of my life. A few days later, he rings me back and says he can't get the money. I'll give you 80 grand for it. I said, no, mate, we had an agreement. No, we didn't have an agreement. We had an agreement. You can't do this to me. And he says, yeah, well, you've got to sell it. So you've got to get out of there. So I'll give you 80 grand. And I said, mate, that's not what mates do to one another. You've been a fucking prick, mate. And he said, yeah, well, take it or leave it. So I said, all right, give me half an hour. I'll call you back. So I called him back half an hour. I said, all right, I'll take it. Another few days down the track. Can't get the money. What was I to do? I had to leave. So I lost everything. Lost my business, my home, everything. Because this fucking arsehole just walked in and took over my job. Why anyone would want to clean pubs voluntarily got me beat. Horriblest job ever. I better just check that brew. I don't want it to overflow. I've got to get ready for work. Oh, perfect. You gotta turn that water off right now. That could have been disastrous. Oh, I might as well grab the yeast while I'm up here. So, this is why I'm living here. I am now in a rental, more than I can afford, working for minimum wage, somebody else's business. Least I can do just to survive. And I'm not looking for pity or anything, because, as I say, I've got this inner strength. I can survive through anything. Not just survive, but thrive. And this is where it's come to the important message I was getting to. I'm not get around there. Sorry, I'm just going to put this hose into the water tank. The flat water, mind you. Ever noticed water can't curve? It's something I've been pondering for many years. Water can't curve because the earth is flat. So here's the important message. Let me just cut to the chase. You've seen a few of my rants talking about the domes, build them. We've seen the Mandela effect. We've talked about aliens. We've talked about all sorts of things. The future has already happened. The past hasn't. Those pyramids in Egypt, they haven't even been built yet. Now think about that for a second. I know. You think, what? How crazy are you? Because we are in this moment in time that is unique. And we are the ones that will go back in time to build them thousands of years ago, so that they will appear thousands of years old now. I know, it's going to be hard for that to sink in. I'm still working it out myself. But the time travel, Mandela effect, all these things are saying this thing. We're in this time. This is the most important time ever. This is the only time that exists, is now. That's why you have to wake up. All the past, all the future is the present. That's why it's the gift. The present is only now. Build it and he will come. Get it? Build it and he will come. If we want Christ to return, we have to build the ark, the dome. See, I am a knower. I know things. There's clues in all of history, in everything we've ever learnt. We spell it Noah, but it's actually, or Gnostic, When you know, I want you to build me an ark to save the world. We have to build these glass domes, protect us from everything. They would be strong enough to protect us from nuclear blast, from any outside interference, and they will preserve everything, all life on earth, all humanity. If we build it, he will come. Christ will return. That's the message given to me today to tell you.